The following is a presentation of the IH Sports Network.
High school football is on the air. The Oneida Indians, the Scott Highlanders, with Tim Smith, Rick Keaton, and their entire broadcast teams. This is Tennessee's most complete high school football coverage.
Sponsored by Twin K, South Fork Physical Therapy, First National Bank, El Rey, Lumber King, Ray's Axe, Danny's Drugs, T&T Car Wash, Tommy's Motorsports, and Mountain People's Health Councils. Produced by the IH Sports Network, Friday Night Football begins now.
Good Monday evening, everyone. Welcome to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network. I'm Ben Garrett. This is Tim Smith. He's the voice of the Oneida Indians. This is Rick Keaton. He's the voice of the Scott Highlanders. Thank you for joining us tonight. We are live from the C. Michael Lay Technology Center in Helenwood. We've got a relatively quick show coming your way tonight. No soccer. Scott High, of course, is done. We wrapped up Scott High coverage last week. Oneida tonight on the road at Chucky Doak in a big regional game. Hopefully we'll be able to get some updates from that as the evening goes along. But we're going to talk to our scholar athletes. We're going to talk to some football players. We're going to talk to some cheerleaders. But first, as always, we'll start off by kind of recapping what happened on Friday night, a heartbreaking Friday night for both Oneida and Scott High. And as always, we want to thank Little's Drugs and Fountain for sponsoring this first segment of the Roundtable. I didn't get to make it to Little's today for lunch, but I will tomorrow. I'll guarantee you that. Anyway, best lunch spot in town, without a doubt.
Especially on Mondays.
Yeah. Cabbage soup day.
That's right.
All right, Tim, we'll start with you. Oneida on Friday night falls behind to Tellico Plains 22-0. Much like Scott High, this was almost a must-win for Oneida as far as their playoff hopes go, and we'll talk about the playoffs in just a moment. But got behind 22-0, battled back in the fourth quarter, just kind of run out of time.
Yeah, and you mentioned there is a mathematical possibility, but it seems very limited, very unlikely. And so the Indians knew going in, and I think, Ben Gilbert was here last week, and he said it's the playoffs. This week's the playoffs. And so that's how the Indians tried to approach it, and it just didn't start out very well. I mean, the first drive was Tellico Plains, and they were stopped, so that was a good thing. And then Oneida's first offensive possession had some penalties, and it kind of looked familiar in that. And then the Oneida offense was just having trouble once again stringing things together until late in the game. I mentioned at the post game that it was almost a carbon copy of the home game previous on homecoming against Polk County, where the Indians built a deficit for themselves going into the fourth quarter and were able to get a couple of scores on the board and come down to a onside kick chance. I mean, it happened again this Friday night. They didn't quit playing hard. They didn't quit trying. There was a good effort from the team, but just the points weren't being scored. The offense wasn't moving for the better part, especially of the first half. Second half started getting things going. The defense, after getting down 22-0 in the first half, they had a horrible first half, but they locked things down to give Oneida a chance to come back and get something done in that second half. And we saw the passing game unleashed a little bit deeper in that fourth quarter. We saw some big connections with Levi James and with Grady Keaton that put Oneida on the board for the two scores. And it was just too little too late. Once again, the Indians tried to execute that onside kick, and Tellico Plains was ready for it and did a great job. And for Tellico Plains, you got to say they had to have in the back of their mind they had not won a game in the region since 2020. And so when Oneida started coming back and these things started happening, you could see how maybe the Bears would tighten up and think, oh, here we go again. And so credit to the Bears. They didn't do that. They did a good job. They came up with some stops, and they ultimately get the win. And it was a physical game. They were a very physical running team. We had to adjust to that after that first half, because that's really what they did, is they just had hard-nosed running against the Indians with three running backs and a quarterback that just did a great job getting any extra yards they could get. First contact was not a thing that was going to stop the Tellico Plains Bears. So they're doing a lot of good things. The Indians did some good things, just not enough to get the win in this game. And so now for the Indians, they turn to the final 3 games of the season, going on the road this week to Greenback, where we have another squad that's disappointed in the way the season has gone for them. Had a coaching change in the middle of the year. I look today, this is going to be, should the math work out as we think it's going to, it'll be the first season since 2005 that both Oneida and the Greenback Cherokees have missed the playoffs. So it's been almost 20 years since neither one of them are going to appear in postseason. For Greenback, they might have a slight mathematical chance too, but it again seems unlikely. So 2 teams that are kind of in the same boat right now, trying to get right on Friday night at Greenback is what we're going to see. And then Oneida will close out at Kings Academy and back home against Bledsoe County, which looks like they're going to be the second-place team in the region. So there's, always pride to play for the Indians and a slim chance at anything else. But more importantly, they're just trying to find a way to get the offense going a little bit earlier than late in the game, which has been the plague that's happened to the Indians this year.
You mentioned Tellico Plains, their first region win since 2020, but didn't we start to see this a little bit? They had lost 3 straight, and then they came back and got a win over Harriman, a Harriman team that had beaten Kingston early in the season. So you could almost see this is a Tellico Plains team that was a lot better than they were coming in maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago. I
mean, we started to see it as Indian fans last year in the second half of our game down there with them. We got a big lead. Caden Rector at quarterback, we were up, I think, 27-0 at the half. And then in the second half, they came out and they just pounded the football, wound up scoring the 12 points. We beat them 27-12. But we saw that they had this ability to run the football this hard and this well. And last year, Tellico Plains spent most of the year without their starting quarterback. So, there's different reasons that they were in the spot they were in. They were much better this year. I think they're going to be in good shape. They've got, I think, Wartburg left, and I'm not sure exactly who else, but, they're a proud team, and they played in a hard-nosed fashion on Friday night. So nothing taken away from Tellico Plains. The Indians did a great job of trying to hang in there, but it was just kind of a repeat of what had happened against Polk County.
And, Rick, the Scott High game, I would say, I don't know how you feel about this, I thought it was probably the most exciting Scott High football game that I've watched maybe in several years. Scott High came out, really dominated the first half, but just shot themselves in the foot repeatedly with penalties and turnovers. Probably should have been up at least 28-8 at halftime. They weren't. Union County was up at halftime. In the second half, Scott played better, but to Union County's credit, every time Scott High punched, Union County punched back in the second half.
It was a game that we got the first score. Of course, to get the first score, we had to hold them on their first possession. Forced a punt, took the ball, nice possession, driving downfield. I think a 4-yard touchdown by Michael Bond on top. Missed the extra point. Actually a high snap on that, so we led 6-0. But it didn't take them but a possession or two. They answered back, and they got a 2-point conversion. They led 8-6. What's the old saying? If it wasn't for bad luck, we'd have no luck at all. Well, I feel that way about the Highlanders the other night. On maybe 6 possessions in the first half, our second possession, UC held us. We were going to punt the ball. It wasn't that bad, except the snap went over the center's head, way over the center's head, that he had to go back. Houston recovered that on 3-yard line, so that's where UC got the ball at the 3-yard line. So do we say cheap touchdown? You should be able. Any team should be able to score if you get it 1st and 10 at the 3-yard line. So they were able to get that score off of that turnover. We come back. I think it's our third possession. We get another TD, but then after that, there was our last 3 possessions. We gave up an interception, fumble. And, we almost outgained Union County 2-1 offensively in the first half, despite all those turnovers. So there was essentially 4 of those in the first half. We came out, corrected a few things, and really started playing shorthanded in the second half, especially when we got to the fourth quarter. So I give a lot of credit to our kids who did not give up. you fill in the pieces at a running back here and a receiver there. You start moving folks around. They probably hadn't practiced that much at it during the week. So we're lucky that we were maintaining our composure. We were still trying to fight for it in the game. And as I said, it was funny. It went alternating scores throughout the contest. And if things had played out well, we had the ball last, would have been our chance to score. So we do get them very close to the, 15-yard line, struggling, fighting for that first down on a complete pass out on the wing to the tight end. Came up this much short, half a yard or so short on that. I mean, so there's that luck part again, and I think we all agree that during the course of any football game, you have to have some luck to go along with the skill and the other good things that's going well for you. But the offense just played well. Michael Bond had a tremendous game, 150-plus yards, less than a quarter. Had that 80-yard touchdown run. And Coach Hall just told me in a pregame interview, he said, I think Michael's back finally healthy this year. And what did we do? We jinxed that right away. And he did look very fast on that 80-yard run, still pulling away from Union County on the way. So the breaks, it's not that Union County jumped out real big on us with those turnovers and stuff, but in a tight game like that, a missed extra point. You go for two, you don't get that. You let them get out of a hole once or twice like we did, where we could have had really outstanding field position. Even though we lost 30-29, I want to tell you that I was very proud of these kids, very proud of the defense, because we had to stop them on maybe 4 or 5 different occasions where they got really good starting field position. And our defense done a good job, and our offense played well enough that we should have won the game. It's the little things, and it depends on. I talk about it more in basketball than I do football. The foul, the penalty, the turnover. Sometimes if they happen late in the game, there's not enough time to overcome those. Fortunately, we had enough time. We could have overcame those, but it's the fact that we missed so many potential opportunities to put points on the board. That leads us up to this finally to play some home games now, the last 3 games, starting this week with Alcoa. And I just tell them, Ben, we could have done a whole show here on Alcoa tonight with everything that you can talk about with them, all the records, the history, 9 straight state championships coming into this season, and they're going for number 10. So, they're just they're the giant and a whole bunch of Davids down here trying to knock off Alcoa. And it takes another giant stature team to be able to really play with them. And, somebody like, Maryville, I think, at the end of their season, which is what they'll have. So, anyway, it's Alcoa this week. Then it's Pickett County next week, which will be, I think, homecoming. And then to finish that out with Austin East. There's still some mathematical formula out there, but you still have to go out. You have to defend. In this case, you have to defend your field. You have to play well. We would have to beat Austin East and maybe see how the pieces roll after that.
Well, let's talk about that. Playoff update in Oneida's region. In AA, York's still number 1. Bledsoe County, as you mentioned, they're number 2. Polk County is number 3, and now Tellico Plains is number 4. Oneida, the playoff picture looks like this. First, you got to beat Bledsoe, which that's a home game, final game of the regular season. Going to be a tough task. Bledsoe's a very good football team. They won that game last year 28-0. Unfortunately for Oneida, it's not that simple. You also got to have some help. Wartburg has to beat Tellico Plains. Now, I don't think either one of those things are outside the realm of possibility, but certainly you'd like to control your own destiny. Unfortunately, Oneida does not at this point, and I'm not sure Scott High does either, Rick. For Scott High, you mentioned Scott's got to beat Austin East. You got to do that. And, again, I don't think that's outside the realm of possibility. That's a home game, again, last game of the season for the Highlanders. You need Union County to beat Austin East to feel really comfortable. That gets you in if you beat Austin East. If Austin East beats Union County, that creates a 3-way tie. Now, we think that Scott High, if they get to win over Pickett County, and obviously they're going to be heavily favored in that game, that would give them the tiebreaker because they would have a second win. Union County, Austin East are not going to have a second win unless one of those two teams scores a major upset the next couple of weeks. TSSAA as far as I know, and maybe you know differently, so far, because this came up last year too, and Scott High could not get a straight answer as to whether Pickett County actually counts because Pickett County doesn't play a varsity schedule. So, but the bottom line for Oneida, beat Bledsoe County and hope. For Scott High, beat Austin East and hope. If it doesn't work out, this will be the first time since 2005 that neither one of our local schools have been in the playoffs. It doesn't seem real that it's been that long, but 19 straight years, that's what's riding on the line. So with that said, we're going to take a break. When we return on the roundtable, we're going to talk to our scholar athletes from last week, Oneida's Sabrina Lawson and Scott High's Houston Stanley, right after this. Welcome back to the Roundtable. We're live from the C. Michael Lay Technology Center in Helenwood alongside Rick Keaton and Tim Smith. I'm Ben Garrett. Thank you for joining us. And now we turn to our Scholar Athletes presented by Stand. And our Scholar Athletes last week, a couple more 4.0 GPA athletes. And it's amazing how many of those that we've got at Oneida and Scott High. But this week we've got Oneida senior band member. I was struggling there.
There you go. That's exactly right. Member,
Thank you,
yes.
Tim. Sabrina Lawson and Scott High sophomore football player Houston Stanley. Houston is the first scholar this year that we've had who's not been a senior, Rick Keaton. And so you don't get anything for that, but a pat on the back maybe. But congratulations to both of you, first and foremost, for these grades and the accomplishments that you're racking up in the classroom despite your extracurricular activities. And I'll just immediately turn it over to you guys and let you guys grill them, and we'll see how smart they really are.
Me first?
Yeah, go ahead, Tim.
All right. Okay.
Because this band stuff is down your alley.
It is, and I'm going to try to not take too long. But the first thing we asked Sabrina is, what is your favorite subject?
My favorite subject?
Yeah.
Does that include band?
It does.
Okay,
yeah,
then
sure.
I'd say band.
Okay, so outside of band, okay, let me ask this way: what's your least favorite subject? And it doesn't say anything about the teacher. Okay, it just says that this is not the thing that's down my alley.
Probably English.
English. Okay, so math,
I'm okay with
you
that.
like math? Okay, so
Yeah.
that's where we're going to be different. But I was in the band too, and so the first thing I want to ask you is, I know you guys have band competitions on the weekends. So how many of those have you completed so far?
This year, I think we've done 2 now. We have one this coming weekend.
Where is this weekend?
Heritage.
At Heritage. Okay, the Volunteer Classic, right?
Yes.
Okay, how have things gone in the first 2?
Not as well as we would have liked, but I think we can buckle down and get it and get better this year for this one.
What are they being picky on? What are they?
I think it's really been our visuals.
Okay.
Our marching. It's been a little rough, but I think we can get it under control.
And so for the casual band fans, which may be you all, I don't know, but visuals are kind of a new thing. When I was in school, way back,
1970s.
Yeah, I was marching in the 80s, but visuals weren't a thing. You know, we just marched, and so that's a kind of a new thing that I wouldn't even know how to judge on things like that. But what about the band this year, and do you have some members of the band that are you going to be in concert band as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so will you try out for All-State and All-State East and those things?
Yeah. So we're getting ready to have ETSBOA auditions in January, I think. So
Okay.
I'm about to start my lessons for that.
Okay, all right, and so we had a question Friday night. I asked my friends. We had your picture on that, and I asked them what you were playing, and they said it was an oboe. And because they're football players, Sabrina, I said that's a pretty good guess, right?
I mean, yeah, it's better than I've heard.
It could have been worse.
Oh, you didn't have to throw me under the bus for saying it was a flute.
We weren't going to mention.
I didn't say nothing.
We weren't going to mention anybody in particular or any guesses that were very poor or anything like that. But what do you think the hardest instrument to play in the band is?
Probably the flute or the piccolo.
Flute, piccolo,
Or the
all right.
tuba.
Okay. Yeah, it can be. So I was a trumpet player, and one thing I think clarinet and trumpet shares is that when you do go compete for these things, these All-State East and All-State, there are so many people playing our instruments, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just it's a huge field, so it's very hard to make that. So have you had successes in the past or been close?
I was I made it in middle school, but that
Okay.
was a different league there.
Yeah.
But I hadn't auditioned until last year, and so it was kind of it was a bit of a different process than middle school was. So I'm hoping this year I can get in this time.
Yeah. So are there still concert competitions that you go to as well?
Yes, like last year we went to one that we competed at, and then we went to the theme park Carowinds in North Carolina.
Wow.
With it. So
Okay, and I'm going to let you get to Hunter here in just a second. I just got another question I was going to ask you. So as a scholar athlete, we all have things that distract us from things we're supposed to do. You know, whether I'm supposed to be studying or practicing, you know, my trumpet, my instrument, whatever it is. What's something that you find draws your time away from either studying or practicing? Is there some thing that you do that you probably should do less?
Read.
Read. Okay. What do you read? What kind of genre do you read from?
Really anything that I find interesting when I look.
Well, I don't think that's too bad, right? That's not.
That's well rounded.
Yeah, if that's the worst advice you have, then I think you're doing pretty good, Sabrina.
Okay.
All right. Well, congratulations on being a scholar athlete and on the 4.0. Where are you going next year?
I think Tennessee Tech.
Okay. All right. And what's your major going to be?
Psychology.
Psychology. All right. Well, she's sitting here studying us all. She's got us all figured out. Are you taking any dual enrollment psychology?
Yes.
Yeah?
I've taken Psych 1 and I'm taking Psych 2 next semester.
Okay. All right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, one question. Do you want to continue in the music field in the future?
Right now I'm thinking I'm going to try to do my first semester without it and then see if I can handle the load with that, because it can be a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Did you catch Tim call you Hunter?
No.
You didn't catch that?
Did you not?
Well,
Ben did, 'cause he gave me the look.
I wanted to out him in case no one else caught that. We'll tell you Tim's real name during the break. We won't out Tim on the air like that.
Houston Stanley.
Yeah,
Houston.
Stanley.
Sorry,
Yes.
Houston. I apologize, Houston.
Who we've watched all year be the punter and kicker and place kicker. You got to play on the defensive side of the ball the other night because bodies were dwindling out, seemed like real fast. And so were you prepared for that? Did you think you would get that opportunity to play something other than to be the kicker in the game?
Yeah. I don't know. It was still a little bit of a surprise.
Is it a surprise that you have that 4.0 average right now and that you've noted as a sophomore,
Yes.
as our scholar athlete of the week?
Yes.
In what way did that surprise you? Who told you that?
Nobody.
It's just him. Somebody had to tell you.
Tell me what?
That he had a
That he had a
4.0.
4.0 one.
Well, Morgan Boyd told me.
Okay, that's close enough then. Your older brother, he aspired, especially his senior year, that he thought he could be a punter, thought he could be a kicker too. What do you, how do you go up to him right now and say, I'm doing it. Why couldn't you ever make it?
I just don't. I mean, I don't know. He
You're not
kind of
gonna
taught
pick
me a
up?
lot, though.
Okay, well, very, very solid football player. We do miss him on our offensive and defensive lines. Very true. As you see yourself going forward, Houston, what positions do you want to play on the football team? What fits you the best, whether it be offense or defense? Which positions do you want to get more playing time at?
Tight end, probably.
Tight end?
Yeah.
So you are Gus King's heir apparent.
Yeah.
I can ask the question and you're confident in that.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about the team perspective on the game the other night at Union County. We did so many things positively in that game. We had some blurbs, some mistakes there like that. First of all, tell me about that just a little bit, and then follow that up with what the coaches said at halftime.
I don't really remember what they said at halftime.
Obviously, something must have been said, whether it's a word of confidence or just go out and get them.
Actually, it was about Michael Bond and Cameron.
Mm-hmm.
That they said not to worry about them, just to go play.
Because next man up, coaching staff says that all the time. Next man up, somebody's got to step in and play. I guess it's fair to ask you, do we have updates on them from school today?
Cameron is out for 2 weeks. I don't really know what it is, though. And Michael's out. He broke his ankle.
Mm-hmm. Tough break. It's very rare when two athletes have to have the ambulance trip, but when it's brothers, it can be quite devastating there like that. What was the, I guess after Cameron got hurt, what was the mood of the team then? Was there, hey, we'll pick you up, we'll carry on for you, or we don't know what we're going to do now?
We just kept going.
Just kept going. I know that you had to work real hard in the off season to overcome a little bit of an injury. Are you what we call 100% now from that?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's think this through. Your dream. Is your dream to go into – we thought you were going to get that chance the other night, really, at the end of the game. But what's your dream as far as being a kicker? That 45-yard made field goal, is that what you want to do? Can you see yourself making that type of kick to win a game?
Yeah.
Yep. Does it have to be the 45-yarder? Would you be happy if it's just a 20-yarder?
I don't even care.
You don't
as long
care?
As I hit it.
As long as you hit it. We can't go back to the other night. Ben was voting all along, send the kicker in, correct?
Sorry, Billy. Rick is now outing me. I'm not second guessing your coach because it's an impossible situation.
Right.
If he goes for the field goal and it's a miss, everybody's going to say, "What are you thinking?" If he runs a run play and it gets stuffed, everybody's going to say, "What are you thinking?" If he throws to the tight end and it comes up short, everybody's going to say, "What are you thinking?" I said all along, I would put that ball in the middle of the field and put it in Houston Stanley's arms, legs, whatever, because he's got the leg to make that field goal. I had confidence you were going to make that kick.
And no second guessing our coaching staff because
none whatsoever.
Whatever you do, if you run a play, it's designed to pick up the yardage that you need, right? I mean, so if you kick, you hope that your kicker is successful. So anyway, I want you to know that Ben Garrett has a lot of confidence in you.
Thank
And
you.
I think the coaching staff does too, because I've talked with Coach Billy Hall several times this year, and I've actually asked him, where does the ball need to get to on the field that he would feel comfortable sending you in? And the reason I mentioned 45-yarder is because he's actually told me I might let him try a 45-yarder. So
Well, he took a 44-yarder earlier in the game,
Yeah.
right? So what I think of 44 yards.
42 or 44 on that. You're 4.0. What are you majoring in high school? You're just taking the classes that the counselor gives you,
Do you
right?
have a
Pretty much,
major in
yeah.
high school? Rick went to high school a long time ago.
Very long time ago.
You don't major in anything in high school anymore, right, guys? I mean, come on, help me out.
I don't even
Sabrina,
know.
help me out.
Not in high school.
Not in high school, no.
We had to way back in the 1900s. You figure out which decade of the 1900s. Only Leanne and I represent that decade here, but you had to declare some major, and nobody liked that whatsoever.
Wow, that was a long time ago.
Yeah,
Did you have to declare a major, Tim?
I didn't, but
Us
I
young
do.
guys
I do
did
have a
not.
question though.
I'm happy for you.
I have a question for Houston. I got it right.
Yep.
That time? Yep.
That was
Houston.
right.
So, are you playing college football 25?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you pretty good at it?
Yeah.
And what team do you use?
I just do random teams most of the time.
Doesn't matter. You
Just
can
any
beat
team.
anybody with anybody. Do you play online or play your friends?
Both.
Both. Yeah. What defense you run?
I can't say all that.
It's the 3-3-5, isn't it? He's not going to reveal his secrets. I think what we need to do is get these scholar athletes and these players of the game that play that
And
game
let's have a tournament.
and have a tournament. Yep, that's what we need to do. Would you win that?
Yeah.
Would you win that?
No comment. I have one more question for Sabrina, if I could ask it. I meant that I thought about this on the way here. What music do you listen to, or what music would we be surprised that you listen to? How wide a range of music do you take in?
I don't know. I mean, that's a hard question.
I apologize. Didn't mean to make.
I mean, sometimes I'll listen to just because it's fun to listen to as a clarinet player. I'll listen to people who play clarinet music.
Okay. So you listen to classical music?
I mean, yeah, it's really just anything like it. There's some jazz and there's bluegrass stuff that I listen to, even that's not to do with the clarinet. But
Okay. Listen to popular music too?
not really.
Not really.
Not
Okay.
really.
I would recommend Bachman Turner Overdrive. It's pretty classic stuff.
There's not a lot of clarinet in it, but
But it's pretty classic stuff there. I mean, check it out sometime. You'll be impressed there. Do you listen to music? What do you do outside football and Madden, Houston?
Just anything. I don't know.
Do you hunt? Do you
Just hang
fish?
out.
Other hobbies? Just hang out?
Yeah, pretty much.
Girlfriend?
No.
Okay.
Well, I can tell you one thing he does. He plays soccer. So Houston, and you tell me if you are as well, but Houston's a multi-sport athlete. I don't know if you do anything besides band.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm going to give Houston up. How hard is it to balance the load? Because if you're 4.0, I mean, that takes work to keep up a 4.0 GPA. So how do you balance that load between soccer and football and everything else that you're involved in?
I mean, it's pretty easy for me. I just get all the work done in class and just.
They're just smart.
No, I'm not doubting that for a minute.
They're just smart, Ben. Where does that leave us?
No, I know I'm not smart. There's no doubt about that. All right, guys, and I got to say, we don't have band members on a lot. We try to every now and then, a couple of times a season. So I'm glad we got a band member, and I think we had a band member from Scott High earlier this year who was also our scholar athlete. I couldn't be here that week. I love football, high school and college, and whether it's high school, college, what makes football fun is the pageantry.
Yeah.
And the pageantry is the band and the cheerleaders even and all the other stuff that goes into it. And I've been to football games without bands. They're not as much fun. There's a huge element that's missing when the band's not there. So I'm rambling. I know I didn't give you a chance to say anything, but I don't even have a question for you. I got one for Hunter. Sorry, Houston. I've seen this meme on Facebook the last couple of weeks. It talks about how the band is always on hand on Friday night to support the football team. Now, I got accused earlier today of stirring the pot. I don't know who would think that I like to stir the pot. But I've seen this meme on Facebook a couple of times about how the band is always on hand on Fridays to support the football team. And then on Saturdays, the band, as Tim asked you about, you all go and do your competition on Saturday.
Only 3 times a year, not 10, right?
So the meme says, hey, the football team needs to load up and go support the band. We got a football player sitting here at the same time we got a band member. So, Houston, I got to ask you, if your coach said, guys, we're going to load up and go support the band on Saturday, would you go? I mean, if your coach said you were going, you wouldn't have much of a choice, but would you enjoy going?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, you're honest. I appreciate that. Houston Stanley, 4.0 GPA as a sophomore, and Sabrina Lawson, 4.0 GPA as a senior. Best of luck to you guys as you continue going out throughout this year, and Sabrina, as you go on into college next year, and for you the next couple of years, Houston. I hope to see you in a couple of years as a senior, as one of the top 10 students at Scott High School, and it looks like maybe you're on your way. Indeed. We'll take a break. When we come back, more football. We're going to talk to our Scott High player of the game and lineman of the game right after this. Welcome back to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network with Tim Smith and Rick Keaton. I'm Ben Garrett as we continue with football, Scott High football first. And we've got our Trophy Masters lineman of the game, Mason Llewellyn, is with us. Second time Mason's been on this year as lineman of the game. And we also got Tyler Atkins. Now, I said as we went to break that we were going to have our first National Bank player of the game. The deal there is our first National Bank player of the game, Rick, was Michael Bond. And he couldn't be here tonight because he is actually at the doctor getting his cast on, which I take as good news. Now, you may have more information than I do. I'm thinking if he's getting a cast on, guys, that means he's not going to have surgery. Am I correct about that?
Yes, sir.
So that's a good thing. That will speed up his recovery process, and hopefully he's back in time for soccer and can get started spring practice working on next year. But with all that said, filling in is another guy who had a good game on Friday night, Tyler Atkins, 7 tackles on Friday night. And Tyler, before I turn this over to Rick, by the way, we should mention Tyler's a senior and Mason is a junior. Before I turn this over to Rick, I want to know, now they say holding can be called on any play, right?
Yes, sir.
Most of the time it could be held or called on the opposing offensive tackle when you're trying to come off the edge, right?
Almost every time.
So that's my question. How often on a given night are you held? Like in terms of percentages, 50% of the time, 75% of the time?
Probably about 75 to 80%.
Yes.
They don't ever call it, though. So.
No, it never gets called. So what is it that makes you, for some reason, is it your explosiveness off the edge?
I think it's just being able to get off the ball so fast.
Yeah.
And then they just hold me. I got a bunch of pictures Matt Boyd took, and you can see in a bunch of them getting held in them.
Yeah, I don't think one has been called this year, right? No holding involving you. It's incredible, Rick.
It certainly is incredible. But as a lineman, look at Mason, you're sort of taught that, aren't you?
Yeah.
I mean, to get in and latch on right inside the shoulders here, right?
Shoulder pad and chest, yeah.
Hold on. Have you been called for any holding penalties this year?
Yeah, against Knox Central.
Okay.
I mean, occasionally, even the referees get it right.
Occasionally. We don't want to give them too much credit.
No, occasionally they get it right there like that. Tyler, you had a good game defensively, and I said it in the opening segment right here. As much as I can rave about, well, the offense did so many good things. We had some bad luck. We had some turnovers there. But I felt the defense played better Friday night at Union County than we had played in the previous 2 games.
Yes, sir.
Your quick assessment on that. How did we play better? Why did we play better? And who stepped up to play better?
I think everybody stepped up, but really, I mean, the difference between Union County and Whitley and Kingston's a really big difference. I mean, guys wasn't as hard to tackle or bring down, so.
Yeah, I mean, Kingston did have the good running backs, a pair of those, and Whitley County, they had the speed guy, and that was hard for us to deal with there like that.
Yes, sir.
As a senior, what other seniors helped you get to this point, or somebody that's already graduated, say graduated last year, who helped you on the field develop as a player?
Peyton Griffith a lot because me and him just really work a lot together in practice.
And you guys are very similar size, too, right? Height-wise and weight-wise, stuff like that.
And then his older brother, Landon Griffith, and all the seniors last year, I mean, they really just left it for us to step up on and play.
Okay. Mason, when I think of Mason now, I think about playing more defensively than you do offensively there like that. Do you have a preference? Offense, defense?
Defense.
Defense.
Yeah.
Why?
I just like it better. It's just not as much to do, I guess. Just
you don't have to think as much. In other words,
just
you've got a predetermined straight up left or right path to take like it. Would you play on the interior? Would you ever want to play out on the edge where Tyler plays?
I did against Clinton a little bit, but I'd probably rather play interior. Just, I don't know. I'm just used to it.
What's your advantage?
Speed.
Speed?
Yeah.
Do you and Hunter ever get on the field at the same time defensively? You do?
Yeah.
Okay. So between the two of you, both of you are extremely quick off the ball like it. So what about the game against Union County the other night? I felt, and just like I mentioned to Tyler, I felt our defense played real well.
Yeah.
Who do you consider some of the leaders of not just leading tackler, but who brings the energy on the defense? Who's always after everybody to step it up?
Desmond Bowen.
We get that answer every week, and so Desmond does. Des finally got a chance the other night to actually carry the ball. I think he's gone 2 or 3 games and hadn't actually carried the ball, so he got a chance to carry the ball the other night. And he's got a smile on his face the whole time, does it? During practice and everything. Do you guys have class with him, any?
I don't.
No, he's in honors.
He's in honors.
Yeah.
What are you saying?
Like honor class.
I know what you're saying, but it's just the matter of factness that you said that with. Do you have class? No, he's in honors.
Too smart.
So there you go. You said it a little more succinctly.
Yeah.
I'm with you guys, by the way.
I mean, no honors from me. I didn't take honors classes.
I mean, you got to be a special breed, and he's been on as our scholar athlete.
He has, last week. As a matter of fact.
So we know that, and we know that he has this real good nickname that is related to smarts. Correct, Sigmund?
I don't really know what that comes from.
I can't remember.
I think
he got that name.
Is it like a TV show or something?
I don't know.
Like a person on that.
I just always heard it called that in football.
Well, I think it's based after Sigmund Freud, who's
Wasn't there a SpongeBob character that was named Sig?
I have no idea.
These guys are football players. They don't watch SpongeBob. What are you talking about?
Obviously, I don't either.
I mean, I don't know. Sorry. I know you pointed at me, and you really wanted me to pull that out of the fire.
Yeah, really look straight at you instead of me.
I knew Rick didn't watch SpongeBob.
Yeah, okay.
That's exactly right. Let's forget about last week. It's over with. Close game. We had our chances. We'll leave it there at that. What's the challenge this week? What do each one of you see as the biggest challenge in your role on the team? We'll start with you, Mason.
Well, they like to run the ball, so I'm just going to really just kind of take up 2 blockers and just drop, make a pile, So
Yeah.
that's kind of my plan.
Yeah. What about you, Tyler?
I really don't know.
You don't know?
Billy said that the tackles are slow, so SDN should have a good time getting around them and stuff. But I really don't know other than that.
I'm going to have to watch some
It's
film
Alcoa.
to verify that. It's Alcoa. I think that sums it up well. I mean, to be defending state championship 9 times in a row, you don't think anybody on the team is slow. Have you guys watched any film over the weekend, anything of their previous games?
We watched film today about it.
A little bit of it, more like highlights.
Yeah.
Okay. Your impression. I've got an idea who I think is the guy that makes Alcoa go and probably has all the desire in the world out on the football field. Who have you seen in film that's like that for Alcoa?
Eli Owens, number 44.
Eli Owens with the quarterback.
I was going to say the other Eli Graff, the quarterback. He's sort of, he'll put the team on his back and carry him sometimes. I mean, he's a very good passer. He's a prolific rusher. And somehow, last year near the second half of the season, he was not maybe their best quarterback because of the heart and the desire he had to win. He won the job and took him to the state championship. So that's who I perceive. So how do we stop him, Tyler? How do we stop him, Mason?
Contain the edge. Don't let him get free.
You really contain the edge.
Sounds like it's going to fall on you.
Yep.
Yeah. You don't have to worry about the edge then, Mason. But, I mean, all you've got to do is contain 2 in front, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Does the team look forward to this game? I mean, this is a challenge. Everybody in this room and everybody on our team and everybody knows this is a challenge. Tell me, each one of you, how you look forward to accepting this challenge. Go ahead, Tyler.
I really don't know. It's just an opportunity, I guess. We ain't got nothing to lose against Alcoa.
Right.
We already know. People already think we're going to lose. So, I mean, what's the worst we can do to lose?
Okay. But we do want to go out and play hard. We want to earn their respect, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we ain't going back down. We're just gonna play how we've been. So.
Well, I can't wait to see the game. That's what I'm looking for a Highlander team to do, to step on the field and earn respect.
I have a question. So, Mason, did you say that sometimes you play inside, but you have played outside?
Yeah.
On the line, on the offensive line? Have
No.
you played? No.
DN.
Okay. Now, I want you to be an offensive line on the outside, okay? I want you to put yourself in that spot. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Tyler's the defensive end on the other side. What are you going to do to slow him down? What are you going to do to keep him from getting to the quarterback?
Yeah, hold.
You're going to hold him?
Yeah.
And hope it doesn't get called?
Everybody else does. Might as well.
That's right.
What's your move? What's your best way to get to the quarterback to try to get by somebody? I mean, I've heard of swim move.
Yeah,
and this
probably
and that.
swim move, really.
Swim move?
Just getting off the ball fast. I don't know.
Okay.
Just swim move, really. Swim move.
Have you been called for offsides?
Yeah, a few times.
A few times. That happens, right?
Jumping off the ball, that's it, though.
Every good player, everybody that's quick to the quarterback takes that chance. Right. So yeah, that's good. I was just wondering how you would defend him, and so you've seen him be an offensive lineman. How would you counter the fact that he's going to hold you when you're getting held? What do you do to get away from it?
Keep swimming.
Keep swimming. All right. Good luck, guys.
So I want to know how you wound up as a defensive end, because with your frame, I picture you as a wide receiver or a free safety, and you're playing defensive end. How did that come to be?
Well, last year I did play safety all year, and then I wanted to play defense end. I don't know, it looked fun, and then Coach Wright let me play it in the JV game, and then I just stuck with it after that.
So way back in my middle school days, I didn't play high school football. I know you guys are shocked, but in my middle school days, I played defensive end, and I agree with you. It's a very fun position. To me, it's the most fun position on the defensive side of the football. All right, so Mason, let's talk about your frame. You're an undersized lineman, and so first of all, you've watched a little film on Alcoa. What's the size of the guy that's going to be lined up across from you?
Probably about like 6'2", 300 pounds.
He's going to be a little bit bigger than you, right?
Oh yeah.
So I mean, and you don't have to be a big guy to play offensive line. Tim played offensive line in high school. So, but I mean, is it intimidating?
No, he didn't. Tim did not. No.
Is it intimidating to line up against those big fellas?
I mean, yeah, but I mean, I'm not gonna give up. I'm just gonna go.
You hold your own. You do well.
Yeah.
All right. By the way, guys, the SpongeBob character that I was thinking of, Sig, I can't believe
I
that
know
either one of you guys
I knew this was important.
got this.
This was getting to him. It had to happen.
It was Squidward. Squidward. All right. So, Mason Llewellyn, our Trophy Masters lineman of the game.
Squidward is not even close to Sig.
No, it's not. That is
At that point, you call him Squid.
Then why do you always
That
call
doesn't-
Desmond Squid?
That doesn't.
Because I can't remember Sig.
Must be pretty close.
I've gotten better at Sig.
That does not
We
defend
were
you the
going
way
to
you
break.
think it does.
Greg is going to fire us all. Mason Llewellyn was our Trophy Masters lineman of the game, and Tyler Atkins was not our first National Bank player of the game, but it could have been.
Can I just say one thing?
Oh, Greg's going to fire you.
Squidward played the clarinet. I'm just trying to tie it all back together.
All right, guys, good luck against Alcoa on Friday night. We'll take a break. When we return, we'll flip to Oneida football after this. We're back with the roundtable live from the C. Michael A. Technology Center in Helenwood, along with Rick Smith, along with Tim Smith.
Just call me
and
Rick Swindale or whatever
Rick
you want
Keaton.
to.
I'm Ben Garrett, and we've also got with us a couple of Oneida juniors. I think are you a junior?
No, he's a freshman.
You're a freshman?
Yes,
Holy
absolutely.
smokes. Okay, sorry. I missed that one by just a little bit. Okay, Oneida junior Braden Birchfield, our first National Bank player of the game, and Oneida freshman Brylan Strunk, who was our Trophy Masters lineman of the game.
Absolutely.
And first of all, I'm sorry. Braden, though, I have been advocating for you to be player of the game. You've been flirting with this a couple of times this season. Anybody who watches the roundtable, this wasn't a secret. The game, I don't remember the opponent, Coalfield, I think, where you had you caught the punt in the end zone for the touchdown.
Yeah, it's Coalfield.
And I asked Tim Smith after that game, what was you think? I'm just kidding. Tim wasn't even there for that game. He was on the road.
I was there watching it.
Yeah. So anyway, congratulations on being player of the game. Congratulations, Brylan, on being the lineman of the game.
All right, first, Braden, I want to take care of something because you need some First National Bank swag, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and so that's what you get for being player of the game. Check out this sweatshirt. This will go with the other five. He already was representing when he came in here with the shirt. So, Braden, congratulations on player of the game. And Ben's right. I mean, and we're trying to explain ourselves when we pick this player of the game because it looks, there's always an argument for somebody else when there's a player of the game. And you have been in the discussion so many times this year. We've had somebody else it would be, but it's like you came out Friday night and decided, I don't think this was on your mind, but it felt like to me, it was like, oh, he's not going to let us have any doubt tonight. 18 tackles in a single game. And, of course, a lot of opportunities because Tellico Plains runs the football, and they run it hard. First off, let's talk about Tellico Plains and those running backs because if you're going to tackle one of those guys, it doesn't happen easily, does it?
You just got to hit them. Just wear them down.
Got to hit them. And so the guys up front got to absorb some blocks, right, and give you a chance. And so a big part of it goes to your defensive line. Yeah, clearing it up so that you can get to the guys. So, but really it's a lot like you and Ben Gilbert. You're patrolling things, aren't you? Y'all are cleaning things up all the time in the defense. So tell me about being a defensive player for Coach Mark Martin. What's that like?
I mean, he's a defensive genius. He sets us up perfectly.
And how does he do that? Is it different every game? Does he say, here's what's going to happen, and you'll get 18 tackles, and then it happens? He's that smart?
No, we still got player positions, but he's smart. He studies the team. He puts in a whole lot of effort for us.
Yeah. So what has been the team that has surprised you the most this year in how tough they were? You weren't expecting this because you played them all last year. Was there somebody that this year came back and they were a lot tougher than they were a year ago?
Not really. We just got to come out and play all of them. We expect all of them to be tough. We don't really have an easy team on our schedule. Right.
Okay, so it's pretty much what you expected from them. And so let's talk about this. It was Friday night. So we get down 22-0 at halftime. What was the attitude at halftime when you all went in the locker room? What was the discussion? What do you remember about that?
He just pumped us up. We had to go back out there and play and try to come back and win.
Okay. All right. Braylon, as the lineman of the week. Now, the Oneida offensive line it's had a lot of injuries this year, right? So there's been a lot of room for people to move in and out. So when did you first play on the line this year?
First really getting to, starting to play a lot was probably last Friday night.
Was this past Friday night? Okay. So, but you've played some before that, just not on a steady basis.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so this past Friday night, what position were you?
Left tackle.
Okay. But now last year you played all the time, right? 8th grade. You were on a middle school state championship team, and I remember you were very effective both sides of the football in that game. But it's very rare that sometimes you'll see a freshman come in and be a contributor on a team, but it's usually not on the offensive line. But do you feel like now that you're there to stay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're ready for this challenge. What's it going to be like? Can you tell me what the biggest difference is in middle school and high school?
Middle school, I'm a 15-year-old going against a bunch of 18 and 17 years old. It's hard.
Yeah. So, what was the guy across from you this last week? What was he like?
He was fast. He's really quick off the ball.
Okay. Which number was it?
Number 9, I think.
Number 9. Okay. Yeah, that was the guy that also was the big running back, right?
Sir.
Yeah. So the Indians didn't get the win this past Friday night. Now moving forward, that's out of the way. Greenback this Friday night. What do you feel like is going to be the challenge against Greenback?
They're really physical. They like to hit a lot, but we just got to be quick off the ball.
Okay. The Indians have had trouble running the football this year. Is that something that that this week you feel like we're going to improve on, and there's an answer to that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What formations are we going to see? Anything you can tell me about that? What are y'all practicing the most, at least through day one of practice today?
Well, today we just went over passing, not really running today, and defense.
Okay.
But there is some I formation and stuff like that.
Okay. Is there any particular formation that feels like more down your alley that you'd rather block on, or are they all pretty much the same for you?
I formation.
I formation? Why is that?
I just feel like I can hit them and not let them hit me.
Okay. All right. So, Braden, now you don't play a lot of offense, right?
No.
Do you play any?
Couple snaps a game.
From time to time, and where do you line up?
Fullback.
Fullback. Okay. And so now, if you're going to run an I formation, you got to have a fullback, right?
Yes, most of the time.
Yeah. So so are you looking forward to possibly that being part of the running game this year?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so as a defensive player, this past Friday night, the second half, you all shut them down. After they got the 22 points, you shut them down and gave the offense an opportunity there in that second half. Was there any particular adjustment you all made to do that?
I mean, we went in the locker room, we talked to Coach Martin about it, and we watched some of the film on it and just moved people in where we could take on more of the blockers that they was leading with and make more of the tackles.
Okay. All right. And Braylon, has there been an upperclassman this year as a freshman on the team? That can kind of be tough because your classmates, but like you said, there's 16, 17, 18-year-olds in the locker room. Has there been an upperclassman that's made you feel welcome, that's been good to you and made you feel like a part of the team this year?
Yeah, Brady Burke and Cam Cash. They've helped me a lot.
That's awesome. And they've both been linemen on our show this year, and I know they're good quality guys, and so they're just kind of keeping things going, trying to teach you how to keep the Oneida offensive line way going.
We gotta come out and hit them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how you gotta play.
Ready to get with it, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. So Braden, this Friday night, you go to Greenback. Any particular challenges you see out of the Cherokees coming up?
They run like a quarterback pitch, almost like a veer, where they get to the outside.
Okay. And so is that one tough to defend?
They're just fast.
Okay. All right. And it's a long-standing battle between Oneida and Greenback. These teams have faced each other a whole lot of times. I think I was seeing that this is going to be maybe the 54th meeting between the two teams. So, it's a couple of schools that love their football. Have you enjoyed the fact that a lot of the games have been on the road, or
no?
Yeah,
not at all.
That's what I thought. Yeah. What's the toughest part about the travel?
Definitely the bus ride and then coming off the bus stiff and stuff. I mean, you don't got much room. And then
Okay. All right. So, and has been pointed out, there's still a mathematical chance about playoffs possibly for the Indians. Do you all think about that, or are you just thinking about we just got to worry about Greenback Friday night?
I mean, our next game's our most important game, so that's what we need to worry about.
Okay. Was there an upperclassman when you came in that kind of like Braylon's talking about, Cam and Brady have been good to him? Was there any upperclassman that made you feel welcome, made sure you felt like you were part of the team?
Yeah, Elijah Phillips helped me a lot.
Elijah Phillips. All right. So that's some pretty good references right there. All right. Y'all got any questions?
I was going to ask, now that you've got this left tackle position, is that your spot the next 4 years? Are you going to hold on to that spot? Do you want to play the guard or the other tackle?
I'd love to stay left tackle.
What's the advantage of being a left tackle? What does that mean for the team?
I've known it for a while now. I just feel like it's something I know better than
right. Use the experience you gained through middle school and that you're gaining this year. That's great.
So, tell everybody your name.
Braylon Strunk.
Braylon Strunk. Did you catch how many times Tim called you Braylon?
I apologize.
And Tim's on a roll with this name stuff tonight. So I called him a junior, and he's a freshman. I didn't want to be the only person that looked like an idiot, Tim. So
I appreciate
I'm sorry.
It. Well, that's okay. And then we haven't even started talking about SpongeBob, so I apologize to you guys. It looks like we're going to run out of time to do that.
So
aren't you lucky?
It's my turn, Tim. You've had your turn. So tell everybody who Tim's sidekick is John L. Strunk on the broadcast. Are you related to John L.?
I have no clue.
That's what I'd say too.
Yeah, you need to do that.
That's the right answer.
Yeah. So
probably I'd even go with probably not.
A couple of years ago, we had Brady Strunk on a lot from Scott High. Now I think I know the answer to this. Are you related to Brady?
Yes, sir, I am.
So tell me the connection there.
Well, it would be my dad's uncle, and that's my dad's uncle's son.
Okay. So at your family reunions or whatever, I assume you get together sometimes. Who in the room talks the most? It would be Brady, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, Braden, I got to ask you this question. Most people, when they're on the show, they come and they rep their team and they wear their school colors. I mean, even Tim and Rick are repping their teams tonight. And if we can get Greg to show Brylon's shirt, I mean, he's repping his team. And here you show up with the First National Bank shirt on. Did your mom make you do that? Does she use you as a marketing tool every time you're out in public?
She didn't this time. She does a lot.
Okay, so
but, no, this is just what I grabbed. I got back from hunting this morning and need to go to practice.
Okay. How'd you do?
Oh, I seen a few, but I didn't take any.
All right. Braden Birchfield, our First National Bank player of the game, and Braylon Strunk, our Trophy Masters lineman of the game. Congratulations, guys. Best of luck against Greenback on Friday night. We've got one segment left to go. You don't want to miss it because we're going to bring in a couple of cheerleaders to teach these old guys a couple of things about football when the roundtable continues. Welcome back to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network, our final segment tonight. And guys, we wrap things up as we always do, and that's by breaking on the cheerleaders. And we've worked our way through a lot of the cheerleading squads from both Scott High and Oneida this year. And this is always one of our favorite segments because we've heard the football players take all night long. Now we get the cheerleaders take on the game. And we've got with us a couple more seniors, and that is Kendall Mays from Oneida, and from Scott High we've got Alyssa Watts. And first of all, thank you both for being here. And I've got to ask you first, Kendall, am I the only person who misspells your name on a regular basis, or does this happen a lot?
It happens a lot. You're not the only one.
Am I the only person your mother calls and jumps onto for misspelling your name?
Probably.
Yeah, probably so. All right, Kendall's a senior. Alyssa's a senior. Kendall, I know that you cheered in middle school and then continued. You didn't cheer in middle school.
No.
Okay, so just hang on. We'll get to that. Alyssa, I want to know about you because Kendall's been here before is what I was getting at. This is your first time on the round table.
Yep,
So tell us about your path in cheerleading. Did you start in middle school, high school?
Yeah.
I started in middle school. I did 7th and 8th grade, and then I did sophomore, junior, and senior year.
Okay, and so what middle school would that have been at that you got started?
Robbins.
Okay. So, and I knew that, by the way. And Kendall, you started as a freshman, or were you a sophomore?
Freshman.
Okay. So, as someone who didn't cheer in middle school, what made you pick it up in high school?
I just wanted something new because I've done competitive for most of my life. So I just needed like a new aspect of cheerleading.
Okay. And I think I've asked you this before, maybe last year when you were on. What's your favorite between competitive and school cheerleading?
Competitive.
Okay. How many championships has your team won this year?
We haven't started yet.
Okay. So at the competitive level, is it more of a team-based thing, or is there's a lot of individual stuff too, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of mix. Like stunting's teamwork, and you got to work together. But then your tumbling aspect, you're on your own.
Okay. All right, Alyssa, how about it for you? Is school cheerleading kind of the limit for you, right? Do you play any other sports?
No.
Okay. So what made you get back as a 7th grader and down at Robbins? What made you decide I want to start cheerleading?
I have no idea.
No. All right. So we're nearing the end of football season, and I always ask the cheerleaders when they're on, what's your favorite? Would you rather do football? Would you rather do basketball? And almost universally, everybody says football, but a few people say basketball. How about it? You prefer football or basketball?
Basketball.
Really? So you're one of the few. So why is that? Why basketball over football?
The atmosphere is just the student section just gets into it, and they have a lot of more chance.
Everybody's right there too. I mean,
yeah.
And I can see that because football, you can kind of there's a whole world out there to capture your attention. Basketball, their attention kind of has to be on you. There's nothing else for them to focus on. How about you, basketball or football?
I like football season more, but I like basketball cheers better.
Okay. So there is a difference. You do cheers in basketball. So this is new for me. You do basketball cheers that you don't do during football season?
Yeah, the words will change up.
Well, I mean, defense, I guess, DEFENSE, so it's still a cheer that you guys do?
I mean, yeah.
I mean, that's from way back when I was in school, so that may not be anything you do anymore. Give me some examples. What is something you do in basketball that you wouldn't do? I mean, you don't have to actually do the cheer, but you know what I'm saying.
I can't even think off the top of my head right now.
It's still football season, man. Got to get through football season.
Rick, bail me out.
Well, I mean, I think.
Sorry, Tim, bail me out. I was
think
looking at Tim.
It kind of felt like you were trying out right there, and I don't think you're going to make the squad. You were a little low on spirit, and I'm not sure that you even studied the cheer. But
can we go back
Kendall,
to talking about SpongeBob?
I want to ask you, Kendall, about competitive cheerleading. Tell me how this works a little bit. When did you first start doing that?
I think I was like 8 years old.
And where has that taken you? I mean, I'm imagining you must travel a lot with that. What's some of the farthest places you've gone to do that?
Charlotte, Raleigh, Orlando, Atlanta.
How many on the team?
It depends on the year. Like this year, I think we have 31, and I've been on a team with only 15 before.
So when you have 31, do all 31 cheer at the same time? Or is it like alternates, or how does that work?
It's like a routine. So like you don't like O&E. Like you have music and you perform.
See how it's done, the O&E? That's kind of what you were looking for. But so have you been on teams that have been pretty successful? What's the most success you all have seen?
I mean, just winning competitions, like prestigious ones.
The entire championship of a competition? What's the biggest one, the one you're most proud of?
Probably Jam Fest, which is when we go to Indianapolis and compete.
Okay. And where do you do that? Is it in the RCA Dome or is it in a field house? Convention Center. Okay. All right. What is the biggest difference in that and then the high school cheerleading?
Competitive is a lot more. It's harder. It's a lot more like physical. Whereas school cheer, you're just kind of like standing around cheering. It's not as like hard.
Okay. It's a little more. It's more relaxing, not intense. Okay. All right.
Alyssa, you're a senior. Has it started flying by so quick for you yet? It has?
Yeah, it has.
What are your plans after graduation?
Nursing.
Nursing?
Yes.
Have you already got a school picked out?
Yeah.
Or more than one school, maybe I should say.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to share that with us, or you just?
I've got accepted into LMU, ETSU, Roan State, TTU. There's one more. TCAT.
TCAT. She got you.
Well, of course, that would be my vote, but I mean, that's pretty impressive.
That's
I mean,
already accepted.
Those are highly competitive places, so you have your choice. Not a lot of people can say that.
Yeah.
And you're 100% sure that's your field. That's great. That's great that you're going to serve. I hope come back here and serve your community.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
Kendall, what's your plans after high school?
Either accounting or athletic training.
Big difference there.
They don't.
Yeah.
They don't have
Are you
that at
leaning?
TCAT.
Are you leaning one or the other?
No, I'm kind of like split right now.
Wow.
Tim in here. They don't have those at TCAT.
We don't have it.
You're going to have to work on that.
Either one of those. No, not at this time.
So I got to ask you guys, and we didn't talk about this beforehand, but I got to know. So Alyssa, you're a Watts, and Kendall, your mother was a Watts before she met that Mays boy from up in Oneida when she worked at Food City about 25 years ago, and I remember that, by the way. And matter of fact, I'm going to tell this story. I was standing there when your dad asked your mom on a date for the first time. True story. And I remember what her answer was too. Are you guys cousins?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Nope, no relationship between the. Okay, all right. Not many Wattses around. That's kind of surprising to me. I would just figured you guys were probably cousins. Your grandparents, by the way, are Gary and Debbie.
Those are my parents. Yeah.
Those are your parents.
Yeah.
Holy smokes! Wow. I would have. So you got sisters that are a lot older than you then.
Yeah.
So what's that like, growing up as the baby of the family? No.
Sucked.
No, you don't know any different, do you?
No.
So Gary Watts, by the way, they're both educators, and Gary Watts was my middle school English teacher at Robbins back in the day. Taught me everything that I know about English, which is not a lot, but it's not his fault.
Right now he's cringing about that. You could have
like
left him out of that.
Why am I the whipping boy?
All right. Somebody's got to be tonight.
Let's get to this week's games.
Wait, but Greg says we're going to have to start pre-taping if we don't pick it up. So he can edit.
Tell Greg to stay in his lane. Let's get to this week's games, and this is where y'all shine. Now, your cousin, which is Jillian Cross, is on our picking panel, and she's done pretty well. She's representing Oneida High School pretty well, and she told us earlier this season when she was on that she goes by school colors. So I don't know if that's a tactic that you want to try or not. Tim's got to have help. Now, Tim, for years, has been on the picking panel, and he's usually in the running when we get down late in the season. But I don't know if you saw what he did last week. You probably didn't see. But
No.
Tim went 5-5 last week. He crashed and burned, and he kind of took himself out of the equation as far as having a shot at winning this thing. So he really needs some help tonight. I'm just going to tell you. Alyssa, Rick always needs help. I mean, he needs help.
Yeah, my wife said to me yesterday, "Are you dead last?" I said, "No, I'm tied for next to last." So.
Yeah, I mean, Leetta, we won't tell him who's last or anything, but so do you guys watch high school obviously you watch Oneida and you watch Scott High, but do you guys watch football aside from Scott High and Oneida?
Not usually.
No. So you don't know who's playing who this week?
No.
I'm going to tell you guys who's going to play who, and we're going to pick those games. First of all, Tim Smith, Oneida is going to be at Greenback this week, and we're not going to ask you to pick a winner because you're going to say, Kendall, that it's going to be Oneida. It's Oneida all the way. But what I want you to do is tell me one thing Oneida has to do to get a win at Greenback on Friday night.
I don't know football enough to tell you that.
Score more points.
Yeah, you got to score more points.
Okay.
I won't even be there, though.
Really?
Mm-mm.
You're going to do competitive dance?
No, I'm going
competitive cheer, I'm sorry.
I'm going on a college tour.
Okay, that's your excuse for that. Tim, what's Oneida got to do to beat Greenback on Friday night?
I mean, I think we got to run the football. I think we got to run the football.
And it's kind of been the Achilles heel this season.
Yep.
Hasn't it? It'd be a good opportunity to really have a big game, and I think Greenback presents an opportunity for that. All right, Alyssa, Scott High, Alcoa. First of all, it's good to be back home, isn't it? Under the friendly lights at Highlander Stadium.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It has.
Nobody gets Scott High a shot in this game because Alcoa's won like 800 straight state championships. What does Scott High have to do Friday night against Alcoa?
They have to be aggressive.
Okay. Rick, did you agree with that assessment?
I think they have to be aggressive. They have to protect the football, slow down the game if possible.
No fear, treat it as an opportunity to play on a big stage.
Exactly.
I feel like it would be what Rick Keaton would say.
I mean, it's our stage. Let's go out there and defend our stage.
Are you going to be at the game Friday night?
Yes, I am.
She's going to be at the game Friday night. No,
we'll
you do
we'll
have a
see
good
each other
excuse.
again.
You do have a good excuse. All right, guys, let's look at the other games in these two teams' regions. And Kendall, Wartburg is at Sunbright this week. Wartburg is 1-6. They're coming off their first win of the season against Oakdale this past Friday night, taking on a Sunbright team that is now coached by our old friend Keith Shannon, who we're very familiar with. And Sunbright still looking for their first win of the season. They're coming off 34-0 loss to Coalfield. So who's going to win that game on Friday? Is it going to be Wartburg or is it going to be Sunbright?
Wartburg.
Wartburg, no hesitation. Tim, will you agree?
Yes, absolutely.
How about this side of the table, Wartburg or Sunbright?
Wartburg.
Wartburg. So no love for Keith.
Wait a minute. He's not. Is he? He's not the head coach.
Well, he's coaching.
He's coaching, yeah. But
well, Good enough.
It doesn't go on his record. So.
Man, I'm getting
for what, 3 weeks?
Yeah, this is the third
for
one.
3 weeks. I mean,
for the record, I agreed. I would say Wartburg in that one as well. Polk County is 4-3. Now they lost last week to Bledsoe County, 21-14. They're at Meigs County, an even bigger test this week. Meigs County is 5-2. They're coming off a 15-14 loss to Pigeon Forge. Polk County, who you've seen this year, or Meigs County.
Meigs County.
No hesitation. I like her confidence.
she shouldn't. She's right. She's 100% right.
Meigs County.
Yep.
How about it over here?
Probably Meigs County.
Yeah.
Oh, no, probably Meigs County.
Meigs County. I agree with you guys. Meigs County over Polk County this week. In the last game in Ononda's region, it is going to be York Institute hosting Friendship Christian, and Friendship Christian comes in 5-2. They won a game against Providence Friday night, Tim, that there was 103 points scored in, 52-51 the final in that one. I know nothing about Providence. I just saw the score. York is 5-2 as well, and they're coming off a 27-21 win over Stone Memorial. Very impressive win by York last Friday night. So, Kendall, Friendship Christian or York Institute?
York.
She doesn't hesitate.
She's right. Again.
York.
It's played at York, is it not?
It is at York.
York.
I'm not so sure I want to go with York on that one. I might disagree with you guys for the first time. But I got to say, maybe she should have been on our panel alongside her cousin because, man, I like the confidence. There is no hesitation whatsoever. Yeah. Now I want to see when we swing over here to Scott High's region if you keep that same confidence. Alcoa, 4-1. They've not played many games, Rick, this year. It's been a weird season for Alcoa. They're coming off a 28-10 win over Knox West. They're playing at Scott High School. Oh, yeah, we don't pick a winner of that game. This is not my night. Good grief. McMinn Central, 4-3. They're coming off a loss to Tyner. They're playing at Kingston. Kingston is 5-3, coming off a win over Austin East. Alyssa, how you got in that one? McMinn Central or Kingston?
Probably Kingston.
Rick, what do you think?
It's going to be a tight one. I'm going to go with Kingston. I give Kingston a little home field advantage playing there.
McMinn.
I am definitely with Kendall for sure, 100%.
Sorry, guys. I got to go with this side of the table to my left.
It's a tough pick. Yeah.
And only one other game in Scott's region this week, and it's going to be Austin East going to Pigeon Forge. Pigeon Forge surprisingly good this year. They're 5-2, coming off a win over Meigs County. I don't know that a lot of people saw that coming. And Austin East still looking for their first win of the season. So what do you think in that one, Alyssa? Austin East to Pigeon Forge.
Pigeon Forge.
Pigeon Forge.
Pigeon Forge.
Unanimous.
Pigeon Forge over Austin East.
Unless Ben
no doubt about
decides
it. Now, last one, Tennessee, third Saturday in October, hosting a little rivalry game against Alabama. And I'm going to turn to Kendall first simply because I want to see if she answers this one as quickly as she's answered all the others. Tennessee and Alabama, who you got?
Alabama.
What do you think, Alyssa?
That's tough. Tennessee.
Yeah, I like that answer, Tim. What do you think?
I think it's going to be Tennessee.
Do you really?
No, I think Kendall's right. But I'm going to pick Tennessee anyway.
I mean, if I'm wrong, I'll be very happy, okay?
I agree, yep.
I'm going to side with Alyssa on this one. And I really don't blame you for picking Alabama. I don't blame anybody for picking Alabama. But I'm going with Alyssa. I think Tennessee's going to show us something. They're going to turn it around. All right. Alyssa Watts and Kendall Mays, and they're not cousins, cheerleaders, seniors, Oneida Scott High. Thank you, two, for joining us. Good luck on Friday night. Well, good luck to you on Friday night. Kendall's going college shopping. Good luck in your college tour Friday night.
Where are you touring?
Alabama.
The fix is in. Tennessee is my pick.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. Be sure to join us on Friday night for high school football. The Baby J's Pizza pregame report will begin at 6:30. We want to thank Greg Bond for doing the work that he does behind the scenes. Leetta Boyd as well. The Scott County School System for the use of their facility. Thank you to Tim Smith, Rick Keaton. I'm Ben Garrett. Have a great night.